Assalamu alaikum and hello, I'm Azmat Shah from Drupal and we are into day 12 of DDCTP in Drupal and theming part 6. So we will continue Drupal preprocess function from the previous lecture, and we will also study some hooks. And one of the examples which we will be covering for preprocess functions and hooks is for different logos for front page and non-front pages. So we will have a scenario which we will cover, so that a logo is different on the front page and it is different on non-front pages. And for the first time in the course, though we'll have separate section for custom module development in this course, but for some normal day-to-day usage of some hooks, we'll be creating a custom module. So this will be the first custom module in this course. We will not dive deep into module development, but just for miscellaneous usage we'll have this module, and then at the end we'll study a module known as field group. So let's dive in. Okay, so we will continue with some of the things from the last lecture, and we were able to theme the login form. So in our code, if I go to .theme file of my theme ddcdp25, you can see we created or we implemented theme suggestions alter for the login form. So as I said, each form in Drupal has a form ID, and that is user login form for the login form, and we are adding form underscore underscore Drupal underscore login as suggestion, and similarly form underscore underscore string replace this. So actually if we check this form right now and go to inspect, so in the theme suggestions we will have both form dash dash Drupal dash login.html. Let me zoom it in, and also this one, and this one is also because of the suggestion we have added. So I think this one is redundant the way it has been checked. We don't need it, this Drupal one, so I can comment it out. So which template will now take effect? This one, only this form, and we already have this in the templates. So form and this one, form dash dash user dash dash login dot html dot twig. So if we refresh the page now, so this is how the form looks now, and this is how will we know which template has taken effect. So again, if you go to inspect, so you can see the place where the login code, the form code starts, and that is now okay. So form.html.twig is the default one, it has taken effect, not the form dash dash user dash login dash form. So we need to just change these to form dash dash login dash dash user dash form, form dash dash login dash dash user dash 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 form. That's it. Form dash dash login dash dash user dash dash form dot html dot twig, and if we refresh the page, user dash login dash form, sorry,
one dash, the last one
user
is one
dash login, user dash login,
and it is one dash. Yes.
user dash login dash form, and we'll clear the cache. form dash dash user dash login dash. Okay, this is just one. So now you can see this template is taking effect. And where is this code coming from? It is coming from this preprocess
Functions.
function in .theme, this one, where we are, because every form has an ID in Drupal, and we are replacing the dashes. Sorry, the ID actually is programmatically it is having underscores, so the form ID is user underscore login underscore form. So the we will be replacing the form ID with dashes in the form name, the template name. So you can see here it is, though the form ID has underscores, but the template has dashes, this one. So now if you know the form ID of a Drupal form, so you can just use form dash dash and then the ID of the form, so that template will be taken. Now there are multiple use cases, and as I said, as a Drupal developer or themer, you will always have to update or alter some code for certain needs. Or so we have, let us go to the home page. We have a lot of errors right now, maybe coming from line 79. Let me check what it is. But for now we can just comment all this code, because we now know what it does, so this error goes away. Okay, so this is the home page logo. This is the logo of a Drupal site, and do you know how to change it? We can log into the site and we'll go to appearance, and to our active theme. This is active theme. So here there is always use the default logo supplied by the theme. If we uncheck it, we can upload a logo, but if the logo is specified in the theme, so what we can do is in the .info file, if you go to .info file of the theme, .info, so here we can specify logo and logo.png, for example. So now we need to have logo.png in the root of this theme directory, so that it is picked automatically. If you go to some images.google.com, maybe this one, and we'll save it in the theme. Here we will just save it. So what's the name of it? It's a long name, we will have to rename it, this one, .gpg it is, so we'll just rename it to logo.gpg. And then you will have to change the .info in, it will be logo.png. jpg. If I clear cache now, if you go to the site, so this is the new theme. And why is it so big? Because the size of this logo is huge. You can reduce it, but just for the demo purpose right now I will leave it as this. So this is the logo, or maybe we can reduce it through CSS also, but for now let us keep it like this. So if we go to any page, for example node/1 or 2 or 3, whatever, so you can see the logo is the same. But now, for example, the client has asked you that they need a logo without text on other pages, but only on the home page they need the text with the logo. So what we can do is we can create a version of this logo without text. For example, this is the logo, and we will copy this also to the root of the theme, or maybe we can create a folder also to keep things organized. DCDB paste, and we will rename it to maybe logo underscore without underscore text dot png. So the requirement actually is, for default for all pages we will have logo.jpg, but for non front end front pages we will have logo without text.png. Okay, so these are the two requirements. So if I refresh it now, it won't have any effect, because on all pages still the same logo is there. So this is something which we can use the pre-processing as well here. But how do we know what to pre-process? This is also something which you should be learning all the time, because page comprises of a lot of things. So you need to have focus on which part of the markup on Drupal you need to pre-process. So we can go to structure, block layout, and this block actually which has the logo in it is called site branding in Drupal. So if you configure it, so it has just this these settings, but we will have to pre-process this block actually. So what does this mean? If we go to the markup, this pre-process markup in the blocks markup in the template folder block, so you can see it will have this block dash dash system dash branding dash block.html.twig. So it has this top level extends block.html.twig, and then it has this variable if site logo, if site name, if site slogan. So any template file will have certain variables, okay, and those template files can be pre-processed. So for example, this is that block dash dash system dash branding dash block.html. Pre-process means if we don't pre-process, this variable has been created somewhere in for us by Drupal, so it will be printed the way it is.
Yes.
But if we pre-process it, so this site underscore logo variable can be changed by us. Okay, so if we don't do it, it will be printed as it is, but if we need to change it, that's the way we will adopt pre-processing for this particular block also. So normally a template can have a preprocess, corresponding preprocess function. So we'll go to dot theme. Where is dot theme? This one, and here we'll create a function. And by the way, before doing this, if you Google it, preprocess block Drupal 11, something like this, so you will get a lot of such functions. One of them is function template underscore preprocess underscore block. So if we copy it, this one, and it says it has been deprecated in 11.2.0. so though we can do we have been using this, there can be better alternative to this, but we still can use it. Let me just try it. If I just paste it, and here, how to know if we dump variables, $sign variables, and what should be replaced with template? Yes, dd cdp 25 is the theme name. Okay, can anybody tell me why are there so many these dumps? I mean, this one is one, then this one, then this one, then this one.
These are multiple blocks.
Exactly. So this pre-processing is now happening for all the blocks on the
All the
page,
blocks,
and
yes,
block and the page is built with a lot of blocks.
Yes, sir.
And how can we know which? So if you go to structure block layout, so all of these are blocks. Even the content, main content region is a block. The breadcrumbs is a block. The status messages, primary tabs, everything is block here. So this pre-process will be now running for all the blocks. Okay. So what we can do is we should specify. So how can we know which one to use? So if I examine all of these, one of them is plugin ID, this one, plugin underscore ID. We will know about what plugins are in Drupal module development, but for now you can just copy the so this is plugin ID as well as base plugin ID. So we can if on this so that we get into only the site branding one. So we can use both of them. Let us use the plugin ID, or maybe this. So how can we target plugin ID now? If variables, this is just plugin underscore ID is equal to system underscore branding underscore blog, I think. System underscore branding underscore blog. Yes. Then dump it. So now how many of them will be there on the page?
One.
So now we have just one dump because it is only doing it for this one. Is this clear? But since this they are saying this one has been deprecated, so we can use another method, and that is even more powerful. We don't need to use this if statement then, and the name will be the theme name underscore preprocess underscore this ID. Now you know what this ID does. So rather than using this preprocess underscore block, we can further improve it as underscore plugin ID, this one. in the function name like this. So it will become ddcdp25 underscore preprocess underscore block and then double underscore and then the plugin id. Okay, so for example in future you have to preprocess some other block, so directly you will just find the plugin id of that block and then the function name. Now do we need this if statement?
No, sir.
So we don't need it now because only this will fire automatically for this one and there will be no change if I refresh the page. We need to clear cache. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, now here we have got to write all the logic. So in Drupal module development we will study some part of module development today as well, just for our workings, but for now Drupal services in Drupal core, a list of maybe we can go for this. There we already have studied what services are, dependency injection is in our custom code, right? So services are classes which do something for your, and there are multiple classes in Drupal. So we can search for services like path, so this is a service and it is inside what core.services.yml and the path is actually this. So path.matcher is a Drupal is a PHP class and a service in Drupal. For now just in your mind make a map that services are kind of functions, like you have functions in PHP, so a service is a class which does something. It will have some function which will do some stuff for you. So how to know in code that which page we are on? So that can be done by the Drupal services, and there is a shortcut and we can use that here. So with /Drupal : and then the service method and the name of the service, and that service name is path.finder, sorry path.matcher. So this will have a boolean returning method is front page. Yes, so this what is the naming convention is, so what should this function return normally?
True or false?
Yes, a boolean. This is a norm normally in programming. If a function returns boolean, so it is having a method like isFront. So you can also use some variable like this, and we will dump $is underscore front. So now if I am on the home page, this is this home page? Node 26 is the page. Is this home page?
No, sir.
So it is returning what? False. But if I go to the home page, it is returning now true. Okay, so you can easily target this variable now to know whether you are on the front page or on the
No.
other pages. So if $sign is underscore front, so if it is the front page, what should be the logo?
With the text.
If not is front, so we'll make it this. If it is not front page, so we will make the logo with the without text. So before that I need to dump variable so that I know what I need to change. So you can see this is site logo variable. We need to intercept it or we need to change it. So the path right now is this. So we need to change this site underscore logo. So if not is front, so $sign variables site underscore logo will become something else. Logo underscore without underscore text dot png. But we don't know the location of this logo right now. We need to specify the active themes directory, or there are a lot of different ways. So what we can do is, there is another service. I will just quickly copy this line, and that service name is theme. And this is, there is one shortcut also. So Drupal theme and get active theme. What does this mean, get active theme? The theme you have enabled, and then the get path. So this will give you the path of the theme. I will call it directory or whatever, theme underscore directory. So that to change this, we will have to make it the leading slash also, then the directory, theme directory and dot logo without text dot php. Is this clear? I think this is very easy. Yes, you are right. There are times when we need to check with a few dumps, but I think you are right. We should have a logo slash here as well. So now if it is not the front page, the site logo will be this.
Yes.
And let us check if things are fine. So it is the home page and the logo has text. But if you go to any of the pages, non-page front page, so you can see there is now no text with the logo. So we have changed it.
Yes.
And if you come back to the home page, and then we go again to some page, so it's working fine. Right now there is one setting, it is working fine, but if you go to configuration, performance, and sorry, not the configuration, development settings, so we are asking Drupal not to cache everything. So this is working fine if cache is disabled, but if we unchecked all these, because for your live environments you will have to uncheck this so that performance is maintained by the Drupal site. So now if you test it, this is even this is the non-home page, but if you go to the home page, so it is also
Yes, sir.
the same. I mean, on the home page also the logo is this. But if we go to that performance page again and clear cache and refresh the page, so now you can see it is working correctly. On the home page there is text with the logo, but if we go now to node/2 or any other node, so again the logo is not changing because Drupal is caching everything for you, a lot of things for you, so that there is performance. So this path is basically being cached, and though it is internally working, but because of the cache and the performance thing, the logo is not changing. So for some reasons this is, you can say, it is not working currently. So we have to disable caching for this particular block, so that or Drupal, we will study it in Drupal module development in detail, how Drupal caching works. But for now what we can do is we should have path based caching enabled for this block. So in order to do this, you can Google a lot of things and disable, you can just disable caching, and this will be something you do a lot, caching block in Drupal. So you will get a lot of resources, for example this one or this one or whatever. So again we need some sort of hooks or pre-process function so that we can stop this block from getting cached.
Yes.
And this is going to be the first instance, because there are hooks which work in .theme file like this, but then there are hooks which work in a custom module. So this altering of the render array so that the caching is per path, we need to have a custom module, and this is going to be the first instance. We will create a custom module, and custom module in Drupal is extra functionality where we can write our PHP code, Drupal specific PHP code. Like you have been downloading a lot of modules so far. These are the contrib modules in the modules folder. So we download them and just use them. But now you can have a separate folder in the modules, and we call it custom, just like we had that for the theme. So in custom modules, normally in Drupal sites what I do is I generally create a folder. For any site I have a miscellaneous module also where I can add hooks or something like this. So we'll call this maybe ddcdp 25 underscore mis. misc means miscellaneous. Okay, so this is going to be the custom folder name is ddcdp 25 underscore misc. This is the first instance we are creating a custom module. So ddcdp 25 underscore misc is the name, machine name of the, or the folder name of the module. Here you will create a new file, just like we have .info file in the theme. You will have ddcdp 25 underscore misc .info.yml. So this is the most important file, metadata information file for your module. Got it? So here we will have a name key. So name is miscellaneous module for ddcdp 25, and then we can have description. This module is used for day-to-day PHP snippets in our project, something like this. Clear? Then we will have core version requirement. So you might have seen 10 Drupal 10 11 or something like this, so we can make it 10 something like, I think this 10 or 11. So this module will work for either 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And then I think there is category also, not the category. You often forget what the metadata we can add. So in that case, you can go to any of the module, just the contrib modules you have. Contrib, so open just any module, for example layout paragraphs, and come to its .info file. So this is okay. One thing also we are forgetting is type module. We have got to add this. So packages, where should this appear on the extend screen? Okay. These two things we need. Then you can have also dependencies. So if a module depends upon another module, you can add those to the dependencies key, and all of these things can be added. But we will come back to the module we are creating. So here we will add, maybe after the name we will add type is module, and then package is custom. So you will know what this does. Okay, so these 5 lines are what we need to have a module in Drupal and to enable it. So what's the next thing now? So what we did in the in the custom folder, we created a ddcdp25_misc file, and a folder with the same name we also created .info.yml, and with this metadata, name is this, type is module, description is this module is used for day-to-day, this core version requirements, this is requirement 10 or 11, and then the package is custom this. So if we come to extend now, so this is that package. So if it is core, it will appear here, but we created a custom one for this. This is the custom one.
Yes.
You can have it any thing. So if I check it and enable, so the module will be enabled, and you can see miscellaneous module for ddcdp 25. This is the name and this is the description. This module is used for day-to-day, and we can have anything here. The machine name is this, even the configure link, and lot of the. We will have this in detail in the module development course, but for now we needed to run a function in a custom module, and this is how we do it. So I will enable this module, and the module now has been installed. Clear? Now we can write our own PHP code in this custom module. So in modules custom, we'll create a second in this folder, second file, and that is known as .module file. .module ddcdp25_misc.module. So .module is something like .theme file also, but it is the extension is .module, and is a PHP file where we'll do some coding. Clear? So here now we'll write some PHP code. And remember what we had to do? We were trying to disable caching for this system branding block.
Yes, sir.
Hook block build order. So if we go to hook block build alter, block build order, hook means module, or it can be a theme also. So here this hook underscore block underscore build underscore alter, we'll use this function. We'll copy this code and come here. One thing you should have, the implements in any Drupal. If I go to, for example, any contrib module right now, maybe no markup, and if I go to the .module file for here, so with each function or hook this is used, implements something. So whatever hook it is, you should write. This is the naming convention for Drupal also. The practice is you should write which hook you are implementing, otherwise other developers won't know what you are doing. So we'll come to the modules custom and dot module. So because we are implementing what, hook, block, build, alter, so we should have this at the top of the function like this. Now in Drupal module development we also will study, we have object oriented hooks also, but for now this one is fine. So implements which one, hook, block underscore build underscore alter, and the hook should be the name of the module, this hook. So it will become ddcdp pp25 underscore misc underscore block build alter, and the array build, and this Drupal core block plugin interface block. What should we do with this? Any idea?
Which one?
So that it is a shorter name here.
We can use that.
Good. So here at the top we will use this.
Yes, sir.
So
Use just
now
block.
just block
Plugin
interface.
interface.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, if we dump the block now, or rather than dumping, what we can do is the block label some condition and then cache whatever, but or we will use the block plugin ID. So you now know what the plugin ID is of a block. There is a method on the block itself which is called get plugin ID. So if the block get plugin ID is what, system underscore branding underscore block, only then do something. And that, because this is build, the block is actually a render array which is built. We'll know about that once we are into module development, but for now this build array has to be changed, and we will change it with cache context and url.path. So what this does is each path will have separate cache, url.path. We'll learn about it later on, but what this does is we are disabling kind of or enabling context, cache context based on the path. So each value for the path will be differently cached. Is this clear?
Yes.
So ddcdp25 misc block build alter, this is altering the block, and we are just adding which block, this one, and the URL of path is different, the caching will be different for each path. So if we this is non-home page. If you go to the home page, so this is the home page. Let us go back to a non-home page. So now it is working fine. We don't need to clear cache for it because it is now caching it per page rather than the whole site, and this is known as context. So we can have different types of caching metadata. There are articles like cache metadata in Drupal, cacheability metadata, cache API. In fact, the documentation is there. You can study all about this. Cache tags, cache context, and max age. We'll study about them later on, but that is not the topic of the day. So we right now have used the cache context. Is this clear? So as a normal module developer or themer, you will have to do such alters, hooks, usage of hooks on different levels. Is this clear?
Yes.
One quick example before we can proceed. So for example, I have if I want to do something when the basic page is created or edited, okay, so hook entity presave, hook underscore entity underscore presave is a method. So in this we can do something with the, I will just copy this code and in the same dot module file I will paste this hook underscore entity underscore presave. So what should the hook be? td cdp 25 underscore misc underscore entity underscore presave, and similar to this we can just use entity interface here, and now this will just become entity interface entity. So if entity instance of content interface and entity is translatable, so what we can do is if entity, or maybe just here, if entity get type id, for example this one, and I dd it like this, okay. So dd entity get type id, when will this fire? For all the entities in Drupal, but I just want to check the entity type id now, and if I clear cache, pre-save is used both for edit and save, that's why it's a good one. If I edit it and maybe test and save, so what is the output? Node. It means we can cache the type of the entity, content type of the entity. So if entity get entity type id, or so if type id is equal to what? Node. So it now will only run against the nodes, okay. Similarly there is entity id, I think that is entity, okay, and if I use AND with it, $sign entity get bundle, I think something like entity dd entity get bundle. Let me check if it is working fine. Let us check if it works. Okay, so there will be get type, then maybe get entity type. This is content entity type get bundle entity get bundle Drupal 11. Okay, just bundle, sorry, it's going to be just bundle. It's a method. So now what are you expecting if I refresh the page? page, basic page. So you can have article and something like this. So you can
Yes.
check for the type of the. So if get entity type is equal to node and get bundle equals what page. So now this code will only run
The basic pages.
for basic pages only. Got it? So if entity get entity type id equals node and node entity bundle is equal to page, then do what? So for example, we can get the entity maybe we need to add something with the title so that we know we are changing the titles of the entity. So entity set, let me just check if this such functions are working fine. But, let me check if it works. So it's working fine. So what was the task? The task was we need to have something added to the title when a basic page is either edited or
Yes, sir.
added. So
Yes, sir.
what we can do is we can initially get the entity get title. Original title will be
Good.
original underscore title equals entity get title, and the entity set title will be original title dot hello. Let us do if check if it is working fine. So if we edit hello, this is this, so hello, this is this, and hello. If I create a basic page now, and this is a title after entity hook. So if I save it now, what should be the title? It should add hello to the title. If we come to content, and you can see it has added the hello with it. So what are use cases for this? In this hook now, you can, in this function now, you can add any code. It can be email, it can be, for example, if you want the node once it is either saved or edited to be emailed also, or you want other nodes to be created. A lot of use cases can be there.
Yes.
Okay, we will do this in detail once we are into the module development, but you should have the idea now what these hooks do. Clear? So far what we have studied? Afaq?
So we have studied that how to change the logo from the site setting, and we have added to the YML file, and after that we have write a preprocessor function for that to change the logo. And right now we have created a custom module and add some functionality to that.
Yes, so we did the dot theme, the logo changing in dot theme with
Yes,
this
sir.
function preprocess block system branding block,
Yes.
but it was getting cached.
Yes, sir.
So what we did was we created a custom module for that, and the name of that module is createctb25 underscore misc, a miscellaneous module where we will be using such code. And here we added this function or hook, it is called block plugin order. And yes, with one line of code you can do a lot of stuff in Drupal, as I
Yes, sir.
said. For example, if I have to change the title, so I have to hook into the process rather than doing all of that ourselves.
Yes.
So we are now even in the entity pre-save for content of basic page. We are changing the title. We are getting the original title first and then adding hello with it so that we know it is changing it.
Yes.
What else we can do in the hooks for like this? So for example, if I have a content type and let me just quickly do it. Okay, structure, content types, basic page, manage fields. For example, this is a student's percentage we want to save. Okay, so this is number field we are going to create, and this will be marks obtained, and then name is marks underscore obtained. It is going to be integer and save. Then the new field will be total marks. And we want to have a third field also, which will save the percentage.
Yes.
So for that we can have, I think, floats. Yes, number float, and this is percentage. Okay, now if I add a basic page, so this is student 1 marks whatever. So here marks obtained, for example 650 out of 1100. So how can we calculate this automatically here? Right now either we will have to write JavaScript, but users can change JavaScript. So this makes sense for this hook again. So this is the marks obtained, this, and if we save it, we should have the percentage automatically calculated for us. So if I save it right now, the percentage will be empty. Percentage is not there.
Yes.
If I edit it, you can see we have no percentage here, but this is where the hook comes into play. So here we can get values of, so for example, entity field underscore, what's the name,
Percentage. Marks obtained.
field underscore marks underscore obtained and percentage. Normally it is something like this. I think let me dump it if it works fine. Or it can be get value also. Underscore obtained. Mass operand are 650, it should give us. Okay, let us make it dd. Zero array 50, zero value, and it is this. So how can we get the value? Get value is 0. There I think there is some shortcut for it also, but so value is 650. So you can get the value like this, and you can always Google get entity field values in insert or update hooks. So there are numerous articles on Google, you can just check. But this is 777, but you get the point. Okay, so we can save this into marks obtained variable, entity field marks obtained get value 0 and value, and similarly marks which was the other field,
Total marks.
total underscore marks, so it will be entity got it. So how can we calculate percentage? Marks divided by total marks
multiplied by 100.
multiply by 100. So this should be, I think this should work in any case like this. You can also do the precision or the digits, something like that, but for now percentage will be the value, but we need to assign it to the field, and what that field is, it's this percentage. So I think it is entity set field underscore percentage. So what should the field percentage value be? Percentage. I think this is okay, it's like this, entity field underscore this dash value equals something. So field value percentage. Let us try if it works. So you can see the percentage is now automatically calculated.
Yes.
You can quickly create another one. Marks obtained out of 850. So I will leave the percentage now. And what's the best way now to hide this percentage field? We'll save it, it will calculate
And then
it.
manage form display.
Good. And you can see the percentage has been calculated. And if you go to structure, content types, basic page, and manage form display, and you will go to
drag and drop it. Disable it.
passage. So even the user won't know that there exists a field for now. There is no percentage field, but it will be visible on the, got it?
Yes.
So just with this code, and by the way, we are doing two things in it. We are using the hook for node of type page. This one adds hello to the title,
Yes.
and this one calculates percentage just with 4 values.
Yes.
It does it. So I hope the role of hooks and preprocess functions and similar functions is clear to you now. We'll have maybe in detail something about module development when we will be studying. We will be doing a lot of such stuff, but for now it is enough. And if we need anything like this, because we will be building a Drupal camps website, so if we need something like this, we will do it. Otherwise, we have a module now which we can use. So let us have some break. We will be back shortly.
Yes.
Okay, welcome after the break. So this is our custom theme. Now we will switch to the default theme for a while, just to show you a few things. So now the theme is our default Drupal theme. So let us see how a module called field group works. Field group, just from the name, let me know what field group will be capable of doing. Any idea? We will read it after a while. Or let us quickly, and you can see the number of installs because this is one of the most popular modules in Drupal. So we will install field group. So any rough sketch what should field group module do? Look for the word group and then the field.
It combine multiple fields or something.
Yes, visually, both on the form level as well as on the display level, node display level. So detail brush en field underscore group. The module has been installed. If you remember, we have a content type and it's student. Okay, so if we go to the basic page, so in the basic page section we have marks, total marks, percentage of 10. So we created these 3 fields today.
Yes.
Let us create a few more fields. So maybe father name, by the way we should have done it in the student content type, but we can rename the basic page content type to student in future. So father name, and then phone number, okay. So this is the form. Let us delete the body field for now. So if we go to adding content, let me just rename this also. The machine name of the content type will remain page, but we have changed just the label. Okay.
Yes.
So this is student info now. If I go on and add student info, it will be title, marks obtained, total marks, father name, and phone. So all of them are there. But if, for example, if you have 20 fields or 30 fields, so we need to have some visual grouping on these fields. So let us divide these two into personal information and academic information, something like this. Okay. So where should we do it? Now you know what entities are, entity forms are, entity displays are. We need to change the form. So where should we go?
Manage form display.
Good. So structure, content types, and we'll go to manage fields, and then manage form display. So this is all, these are all the properties of the content type for this. So you can see now we have what, a field group also. This comes with the field group module. So we'll add a field group, and there can be types of field groups. So you can have, for example, details. What is details? The legend, I think I'll show you, but we can use tabs and tab and the field set. So let us do the field set first. I will call it academic, no, personal information, save and continue, and save. Okay, so you can see this is now a field group. We will move it at the top or somewhere. So which field should be inside the personal information? Maybe title,
father
name,
and
phone number. Right, and save. And we will also create another one, which will be academic information. So now this is also there, and we should move marks obtained, and percentage it was, I think.
Yes, sir, percentage. It was disabled.
Yes, we can leave it disabled.
Yes.
So now these are the two main. And if you go to content, add content, student info, so you can see this is personal information is grouped into this one now, and then the academic information. Right, we can change the look of it again. So this is field set. We can change it to tab, and this one to tab also. So now this is collapsible, but probably this is still not working the way we want it to be. So we can have a tabs group, and then you can have tabs inside it. Okay,
Yes.
this way you can arrange forms. So let us do it. Manage form display, and then let us create a we'll call it tabs info. Okay, what should be the direction, vertical or horizontal? Let us make it horizontal, and you can have IDs, classes, whatever you want here. So this is now group info, and we will change the and save. So if I come to content student info, I think there is a
Image form display.
okay, so this is open. Okay, we I think need to move this to this portion as well. Let's do it. Manage form display. Forgot to move it. Okay, so this is the wrapper tab, which is info, right? And then we have two sub tabs. One is personal information, it has some fields, and then academic information, it has some fields, and the type of personal information is tab, and it should be open. Both of them were closed previously, that's why we're not able to see it. So personal information, this is open, and this one is closed, and you can have both of them open as well, and we'll save it. So if I now go to student info, so you can see personal information, title this, and then the tab as this. Clear?
Yes.
So longer forms can be controlled via these tabs, this field group module. Clear? Okay, you can change them into other types as well. So if you go to manage form display again, this is tabs, then HTML element, and so on. But for now this is enough. So if I now save it, let us create a record, student info. And save. So this is visible in normal display format.
Yes.
So what are your guesses now? What can we do to make them visible as tabs here also?
Manage display.
Manage display, good. Structure,
Go to the
content types, and we'll go to manage display. So the
create
same way
group view.
we'll create a field group, and it should be tabs. I call it student info or whatever. These are at two different levels. The first one was at the forms level, and this one is on the display level. Okay, then we can move it to the top, maybe save, and then we can create groups. Account. It should be inside student info, and it's a tab which should be open. Date. Okay, what should we move it to? Marks and percentage also,
Percentage.
and marks obtained. It should be inside the save. Now we need one more field group. It should be a tab also, and it will be personal info. This one should be closed because we want it to be why is academic info again here? Academic info. Then we will be having inside this personal info, so father name, phone, maybe this is fine for now, and save. Okay, so if you go to content and Muhammad Jamal, so this is why is it showing in vertical tabs? Because the type of the tabs is vertical.
Yes, sir.
But you get the idea. You can have a lot of such headers here, and to the right the information will display. If you want to change it to horizontal ones, so manage display, and we'll make it, where was it, the setting,
Student info. What?
horizontal. I think we are missing something. This is vertical. Probably we change it on the form end. Horizontal, and then these ones are so now it is.
Yes.
Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
There are other modules also used to be. In fact, I have not used this module for a long time. Accordion. For example, this one, field group, easy responsive. This is for Drupal 10, but you can have. So if these are tabs, you can use then accordions like this. So maybe we will be using this module tomorrow in the next lecture for SDCs also. So at least you should have some info of how to use field group module. Okay, one thing I will switch back to the theme we have, which is DTC-DP25. So, and which record we had created for landing page, one of them, I think this one. And then we have checking CTS probably. Okay, this one was it. So let me give you an example of this header. This is the title. This is the probably the rendering is not on, that's why it's not white. But this is title, description, background image, and these are the buttons. So I have gone through the effort of creating this header one time for maybe paragraph type. So if I need the same thing for a view, for example, so I will create the same markup again for the view.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Similarly, if there is a block type where I want to have a header like this, so again I will have to create the same markup for that block type, and similarly for any entity type. Do you agree?
Yes.
So this is kind of, this was the way previously, and all Drupal themers would do something like this. For example, if the same design had to be in different entity types, we would be replicating that design. But now we have something called single directory components. We'll be using and learning them tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. So this will basically solve this problem. We will have one single directory components which all the entity types can refer. So we will have one single source of truth with one design. We can show it to the client. If they like it, well and good, finalize it, and then all views, entity types like paragraphs, block types, node types, whatever, wherever that design needs to be used, we'll be just referring that design. And if, for example, we have done it for like maybe 10 paragraph types, node types, or whatever, and there is just slight change to make, so then we will just change the single directory component, and it will be reflected across all the places where that design will be.
Yes.
And Drupal is moving very fast towards the usage of single directory components. It's a very important concept, so we will do that tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah.